called me to tell me about this land acquisition and the urban core and convening these nonprofits together. He billed it as the Environmental Justice League. And I knew he was onto something special. I read a lot of news. These aren't in my headlines. These stories aren't in my headlines. What's up with that? Why don't they cover the good stuff, right? They are a few key partners of more than 120 different organizations who have stepped up, put their name out next to part of the Green Cincinnati Plan to make it happen. I know there are many partners in the room tonight. We wish we could hear from all of you one by one, but you know how this goes. Thank you for being here. We continue to rely on you. Next slide, please. I do want to name drop a few major milestones. The zoo. You say the zoo and everybody thinks of hippos. But more and more, they are known as the Greenest Zoo in America. And this is thanks to innovation. You are all probably familiar with this project. The zoo already had 1.8 megawatts of solar installed above their parking lot. And last year more than doubled down, and added another 2 and change. This is the largest solar array in the city of Cincinnati, and the largest publicly accessible solar array in an urban center in the country. This is huge milestone work. On top of the conservation work, their stormwater capture work, all of the community impact work they're doing in Avondale. Gotta shout out to the zoo. You're doing amazing stuff. Next slide, please. And we have to hit Metro. Metro's Reinventing Metro program has resulted in the fastest increase in ridership in the country since the pandemic. Adding new routes, new hybrid electric buses, new transit centers, and coming in 26 and 27, our region's first bus rapid transit. This is express routes from our outer suburbs into the urban core. This will be transformational for public transit in Cincinnati and across the region. This is happening under our nose, and I know a lot of you stood up because you're bus riders. But all of a sudden, this looks like a real city public transit system. And so the city has asked ourselves, okay, if we have a real public transit system, what can we do to design our city around this? And connected communities was a key priority of the Green Cincinnati Plan. This is a collection of policies that adds density, adds housing along our transit corridors. The more we can grow our city in a smart way along these transit corridors, the more we can reduce cost of living for individuals, the more we can be a public transit city. Next slide, please. And while we're at it, let's add bikes. I know Wade is organizing a big party over the next couple of days, and I'm thankful he's here tonight. This vision, 100 miles of biking infrastructure around the city, connecting our urban core, connecting our communities, source of economic development, fun, bringing the city to life. Here with partners like Red Bike, who's also here tonight. Little by little, we're making major steps towards being a true bikeable city too, especially these e-bikes to get up the hills. If you haven't tried those already, please do. They're super fun. Next slide, please. Anybody recognize this picture? I hear some correct answers. This was called Makatiwa. And in the 1790s, business leaders decided to rebrand it as the Mill Creek, attract mill presence along the creek. And that was a very successful branding campaign. Today, when you look at our environmental justice challenges, you see industrial scars that line the Mill Creek. Next slide, please. This was a creek that I actually grew up next to, and when my soccer ball went over the fence into the creek, I wasn't allowed to go get it, right? This was one of the most endangered public bodies of water in the country, and it has come a long way. This is actually a picture of our team taking a kayak tour down the creek. Any other yacht club members in the room? A couple of you? This is an amazing thing to do. You will not believe that you are on the Mill Creek in the middle of Cincinnati. It's really transformational. Next slide, please. And just recently, we added our first public access point to Mill Creek. This is work that Councilman Jeffries has helped spearhead with the Mill Creek Alliance. That's the yellow bridge over Mill Creek Road. If you're familiar, this is now Concrete's little beach. So if you want to drop in your kayak right there, this is where you can do it. Next slide, please. You can fish. You can get in the water. I've personally accidentally been underwater twice. As part of the Yacht Club adventure, live to tell the story. Really encourage you to revisit this Cincinnati experience. This is made possible. We had a very low in Mill Creek, and through years of collective impact, we're in a whole new place. Made possible through collaboration. Breaking down silos has become corporate jargon. The city, with the fourth community economic development, is literally tearing down silos along the creek. I was talking with Howard over the last decade. We've seen more than $50 million of investment in brownfield remediation, tearing down these sites. And if you can see on the right side of that screen, the West Fork incinerator is the next one to come down. We secured a $5 million grant from the state to remove what is an asbestos-contaminated site from South Connersville. Another one of the key priorities communities asked for in the development of Green Cincinnati Plan. The work continues. This is the project closest to my heart. It keeps me awake at night right now. This is Center Hill Landfill. You can see the creek in the lower right Swervey part. 65 acres of an old city-operated landfill that has been dormant for 30 plus years. Plenty of economic developers have looked at it. It is methane, it's settling, it's very hard to develop. One of the federal grants we secured was a Solar for All award. It would have brought $10 million investment to build a solar farm on the 65 acres to deliver lower cost energy to communities that need it most. Anybody's energy bill going up? We have a program to deliver relief, and unfortunately this is one of the programs that was rescinded in the last couple of months. What I will say is that we are doing everything we can to scramble to bring this project to life. We are getting closer and closer. We probably have 150 different people around the city, around the nation, watching this project, trying to help us figure out how to finance it and make it real. The zoo's doing awesome solar work. This could be 10 megawatts of solar. That's enough power to power 1,200 homes over the course of a year. It would be a huge impact, a huge investment, and a huge milestone for the climate work in Cincinnati. If the federal money is going away, we have to figure out another way to make these investments happen. Behind the scenes, there's been a coalition building. The political organizations, the business community has come together, and for the first time together, we are in the process of forming what will be called the Cincinnati Green Bank. This is an opportunity to leverage private financing, align our policy incentives, our technical assistance, to still make these projects happen when there aren't grant dollars flowing. These projects still make sense, they're still essential to our success. We have a variety of the Green Bank founders in the room. This is a space to watch. The image here is one of the Port Authority's first projects where they've found a creative mechanism of installing solar on the homes that they're developing in a way that the port can take advantage of the tax credits and deliver the low-cost energy to the homeowners. Please keep an eye on this one. Next slide, please. we have to invest in climate solutions. And as we talk with the community members, everybody had ideas. Everybody had projects that they wanted to see happen. So one of our team's favorite projects is what we call Seeds of Change, which is direct investment in community-scale climate solutions. We have a little video to share with you.
Across Cincinnati, people are bringing the city's climate plan to life. Bike racks in business districts, seed libraries in corner stores, LED streetlights on residential streets. With over 100 projects citywide, the impact is real.
The Title V Seed Change Grant Project is the powerful pollinage program. It is one of the areas that has the least amount of tree canopy in the city of Cincinnati. It was inspired by a real need to get young adults directly involved in pollinator conservation. We've seen major impacts just in the fact we had 40 students plant 300 native pollinator plants that were not there before.
I initially applied for the Seeds of Change to create a children's garden for kids in the area. We owned a piece of land in our neighborhood. It was just a big green space that was kind of turning into a dumping ground. I asked if I could make it into a community garden. Maybe if people could just go outside and grab these things right from our business district, that would be great. Our area needed it. We don't really have a lot of good community spaces. I think the impacts of our garden, it's bridging that gap in between what they're seeing at the grocery store versus what's actually coming out of the ground at the garden, just getting the community more engaged.
Our mission is just to improve the access to and the consumption of healthy fruits and vegetables while teaching children how to become good stewards of the earth and putting them in charge of sustainability and health neighborhoods through environmental lessons. The Seeds of Change grant was really impactful for Feed the Soul because it helped us go to more Cincinnati parks in the summer. At those markets, we offered hands-on activities that connected students to the food. So we're trying to reach the kids at school and their families during the summer in parks of the markets while we're working on long-term solutions, being neighborhood-run grocery stores that offer healthy food.
The Seeds of Change grant program is important because it provides residents with the resources to create neighborhood-driven solutions to many of the problems, whether it's food insecurity, climate change, habitat restoration. Residents can create those solutions with other residents together.
One of my gardeners, Mr. Howard, he's like, I put a seed in there, watered it, and then it grew into something. He was like, and I was hooked after that. This type of grant is for people who just have a vision to see something greater in their communities.
The best thing for these neighborhoods is the neighbors taking charge and developing their voice and getting the resources together because then it's sustainable.
I love it. I think we have a handful of Seeds of Change recipients who are involved in Seeds of Change projects. Could I invite you to stand and wave? These ideas coming. We need more of these projects. We've now invested in over 100 projects. 29 of those are youth-led. I see some of those youth in this room. Thank you for your leadership. We are on our way, Councilmember Owens support, to $1 million invested in community-scale climate solutions. Thank you. Keep it coming. All right, next slide. If you've seen me speak before, you know this is one of my favorite case studies. A lot of you stood up when we asked if you recycle. If you have one of these green cards, please raise your hand. So, thank you for recycling. One of the things that many people don't know is that each of these cards has an RFID chip in it, and when it's recycled, our partners at Rumpke, their trucks detect that signal and send all the information to the database downtown. So we know who recycles and doesn't. You spit up in a factory. This is a program that allows us to understand what is working and what is not. And Sue Magnus is here somewhere. Sue is the mother of this program. And when this data came forward, she sent door knockers to the communities that needed it most, where we had very low recycling participation. Spoke the environmental importance and the ease of the program, and watched the data, and didn't see much change. But because we had this data, we could experiment, and came to realize that the best indicator of whether you recycle is if your next door neighbor recycles. There's so much to glean from that insight. I hear so many people say, it doesn't matter what I do. The 100 largest companies have 70% emissions, some variation on that. Get out of here with that. Individual action is everything. We are a society that looks at each other to understand how to behave. People who lead by example have followers. And if you needed a better example of why this is contagious and why we need you individually to make it happen, this is it. We zoom out. We have a commitment to carbon neutrality by 2050. We did our first ever greenhouse gas inventory in 2006. We set carbon neutrality goals based on that timeline. I'm very proud to say that this work is working. We are meeting our carbon reduction goals year over year. That's the big explanation. So don't be fooled. Next slide, please. I think you are probably reading all the same headlines I am. There's this narrative we are fed: fear, polarization, doom, rage. That's not my story. That's not our story. We can't let somebody else feed us our narrative. We have to write the story for ourselves. And I know you believe that too, because if you had given up, you would be here tonight. So I asked you at the beginning of the day to stand on the writing climate action tunnel. I'm asking you to indulge me once more. If you have hope, you've heard from community leaders, you've heard from neighbors, if you have hope, please stand up. Please look around. These are your neighbors. These are the co-authors of our story. And if there's anything we want to pass along tonight, please take inspiration from the collective work of this room. We have to find our North Star. We have to keep moving forward. Thank you so much for coming out tonight.